Welcome back to the Coffee Chat, where we threw up conversations about mentorship, leadership, technology, and all things Black professional. I'm in my safe space, so y'all know what that means. I'm getting vulnerable today. How to say this? Feels a little weird, but I got the job. I am so excited. Yes, we are starting here because, baby, it took 367 days for me to say I got the job. And honestly, it really still feel weird. I wake up on a weekend and I'm like, ooh, I only got 2 days of freedom. I can't dilly dally every single day of the week now. But I'm super grateful because God literally put this opportunity on a silver platter for me. And I don't even think that I recognized it. I did recognize it. Let me not say that I didn't recognize it. But hindsight is always 2020. When I got to the company, that's when I realized I was like, oh my God, you did something that was like further than my wildest dreams. So I definitely feel like I had to come and tell y'all about this crazy whirlwind that I've been in for the past month. I wanted to give y'all just an update to let y'all know about my reflections, how I had to make this decision because it was not just a oh, yay, sign on the dotted line. It was still stress and other things that came with that stress, guilt, and a million other emotions. But coming to y'all today so that we can celebrate together. I can be vulnerable and hopefully I can inspire some of you guys that are along this journey. So let's start with what am I doing now? So my new role is a senior solution consultant. Funny thing, that has been my role for the past 6 years. So nothing has changed about that. I'm just in a new company and in a new industry. But the real question is, how did I get this job? And that really came through a LinkedIn connection, which was so crazy because I didn't even know how we were connected or when we've ever connected. I don't even remember meeting the person who connected me. So just another testament of you never know who's going to build that bridge for you. And you don't know when you're reaching out to someone, whether you know them or not, how willing they are to help you. I was on LinkedIn. I had started this different strategy that I was using where I would only apply to jobs on LinkedIn where I had connections, companies. So I saw this role and I maybe had like two or three connections. I knew one of them, but it was from like my days at Apple, which was forever ago, right? And then there was another person that I had no frame of reference. I'm like, I have no idea when I met this person, how I met this person, but I am connecting with him. So I reached out to him. I let him know, like, hey, I see that there's a job posting. I feel like this would be very aligned with me. I wanted to reach out, just share more about my background and see if he would do a referral. So he hit me back really quickly and was like, hey, I think this role would be perfect for you based off your background. And I did a little further digging and I was like, oh, I used to use this software at my old job. And that's where like the real connection and affinity started to come in for me. Obviously, I can see that now because I'm on the other side of things, but it was like a familiar software. So I'm like, okay, I know I can do this job because I've used the software before. So my number one goal was to get out that LinkedIn DM. I sent him a message. I'm like, yes, I think this would be a great opportunity. I would love to connect. Can we set up a 15-minute call this week? When I was going through that process and I was running people on LinkedIn, I was not fiddle faddling around. I'm like, let's get on the phone. Let's figure it out. Let's see if you're going to do me a referral. I don't want to get ghosted in a DM. Let's try to figure this out because I know so that you'll know that I'm serious about the opportunity. So we got on a call. It was super easy. He introduced me to a few different people. Before we got off the phone, I'm like, hey, I need a referral. I need an intro to the recruiter and I need an intro to the manager. And he did all three like that day or the next day. It was so quick. And I heard from the recruiter within like 4 or 5 days, which was unheard of in some of my interview processes. So that was the second thing that was kind of like, okay, this was easy. I dealt with this software, sound familiar. He gave me all these intros. The recruiter hit me back. Okay. So I have good vibes. I have good feelings. I'm still going through a terrible time, y'all. I'm still laid off, but this is one of those things that's like turning the corner in terms of my experience. This was this was the time that I think I started to recognize, like, okay, this is what alignment looks like. You worked on this software before, you reached out, you got the referral, the recruiter is hitting you back. This wasn't forced, it wasn't performative, it wasn't stressful, and it wasn't luck. It was alignment meeting all of the preparation that I had done. Because even when I was in that in between space, I stayed visible. I posted, I networked, I stayed engaged. So throughout this time, I kept reminding myself that I was worthy of showing up for. And I continued to persevere because there were so many days that I did not want to go on LinkedIn and beg nobody for no referral. But I'm happy that I did that day. Okay. That was like how it started to come about. And that's like one of the lessons that I look back and I learned. I'm like, show up for yourself even when you're not ready. Show up even when you're uncertain. Show up even when you're scared. Show up when even when you don't know what the outcome or there isn't a guaranteed outcome because you never know who's watching, you never know who's willing to help. And when I got that offer, 365 days. I'm going to keep saying that. 365 days. No, 367 days. That's the number. I need to play the lotto. I'm going to tell my mom that. You never know when things are going to come full circle. So, as I was going through their interview process, again, this was like one of the easiest interview processes I went through. And I had been interviewing for 5 months. I had interviewed with more than 20 30 companies. I had talked to so many people, had gotten to the end of interview processes, got ghosted, all of that. And as I was going through that interview process, it was like easy. The communication was there. The ease of flow of conversations. When I talked to people that I was interviewing with, like I could see myself on the team. I could see the contribution I could make. I could see how I would fit within their ecosystem. And I believed in the product. That was also something that was really important to me as well. Do I believe in the product and do I feel wanted by this company? And I could say in that process, I said yes to both. I definitely believed in their product and I felt a genuine interest. I felt a genuine pull. I felt a genuine investment in me. So as I went through the process, there was a week of silence from this company, which was abnormal. They had told me in the beginning, like, hey, this process is going to take 3 weeks start to finish from your recruiter call to this call. And it was like a week of silence. And in that week, in most times, I would get discouraged. I would get frustrated. I would get, you know, down on myself. Like, I ain't heard back from them. I'm not going to get the job or whatever. But during that week, I was so calm and I was so peaceful and I still had hope because although I was interviewing with other companies, this was the company that I knew I wanted to go to. This was the company that I knew had given me that feeling. So although I was having other conversations, I was still keeping my hope alive for them because that was where I really wanted to be. So, of course, we said we had a quiet week, right? Didn't hear from them for a week. Well, in that week, what they say, the devil know he gonna come and tempt you because I got another opportunity that I could also say was the opportunity of my dreams, right? Bigger salary, bigger title, familiar company. What's not to love? Of course, after being laid off for all this time, who don't want the big clock it? Who don't want the big title? And who doesn't want, you know what I'm saying, to go somewhere where they have resources, they have connections, all of that. So that has crept in. So now we have company A, the company that made me feel wanted, the one who made me feel amazing, and I could see myself on their team. And now company B has crept in, and company B is like, I'll pay you this, I give you this title, and you got all these people that will help you do your job. And that was a conundrum. When I tell you I was in a pickle because now I went from no hope or no opportunities, no offers to two very, very amazing opportunities. And they're both saying, I want you. This was so crazy. When I tell you, it was so crazy. Company A came back and said, hey, sorry, our team was out last week, but we're ready to finish up. We want to wrap up and we're going to make an offer by the end of the week. I'm like, oh my goodness. I would have been so happy to hear that a week ago. But now I'm in a dilemma because it's the bands that's almost in my hands. And I don't know if I want to pass them up. So finished going through company A's interview process. Company B, I had one more conversation that I needed to have. And company A came with the offer. They pressed me. And I had to make a decision. Had an offer in my email. And I was not excited. I was not happy. I was not crying. I was not over the moon because now I was in the picture and I'm like, wow, I have two amazing opportunities. Lord, thank you for this. But dang, why you stress me out at every turn of this, right? But blessings overflow. I can't be nothing but happy and nothing but grateful for this amazing problem to have. That's the problem that anybody wants to have, right? Have two people that are choosing me and I have to make a decision. Over the course of a few days, like I talked to my mentors, I talked to different friends, and I had to decide what I cared about most, right? Was it freedom, opportunity, and pursuing the passions like what I'm doing right now? Or was it getting my ego scratched, getting the cash and a bigger title, connecting with people that I've been connected with in the industry and going back into a universe in an industry that I knew very well front and back. I know it front and back. I know with my eyes closed. So it's like, what do you do? What decision do you make? And I was talking to one of my friends and I kept just like pondering over the decision. I pondered over the decision and I had to ask, like, do you think this is the right decision? And they told me any decision that you make is going to be the right decision. You can't make the wrong decision. You'll just learn from what happens. And with that, I said, okay, I'm betting on me and I'm going with company A. I want to be new. I want to be challenged. I want to learn something different, but I also want to feel wanted. I want to feel valued and I wanted the flexibility and the work-life balance that company A could offer. I made that decision and honestly, I felt guilty about that decision for 2 weeks. It took me a week to tell anybody that I had a new job just because I was so conflicted about whether or not I had made the right decision. Even though I had went through the pros and the cons, I had negotiated, I accepted my offer, I still was anxious and really undecided about whether or not I actually made the right decision and whether or not I should have went with company A. After I want to say like 10 days, maybe even 14, it might have took 2 weeks. I finally let myself be happy. I finally said, you made a decision that you know is best for you, no matter what anything else looks like on paper. You made a decision that's best for you. Now go with this decision and let's see what God had for you. And again, I'm still just a little bit unsure, right? Because you feel like you know what right looks like, but we don't ever really know. We know what we think it is, or we know how we think it feels, but I still was double minded in that moment. So as I began to be like, okay, hey, I'm great. I'm going to celebrate. I only had 2 weeks of being unemployed. I'm like, well, I didn't waste my first 2 weeks. That all I had left on mourning the loss of an opportunity when I should have been celebrating this whole time. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm excited. I think it was when they sent me my first gift. And I was like, ooh, okay, I made the right decision. I went with the right company. When they sent me a gift in the mail, I got swag, I got a book bag, I got a coffee mug. I was feeling the vibes then. I was like, okay, yeah, you made the right decision. So I have been in this role for 5 weeks now. I can't even believe, actually, it's been 6 weeks. This is so crazy how fast things move. But recently, last week, we went to California for a new hire on site. And as I was in my hotel room, I had reflected and told myself, I was like, God is truly amazing. And I keep having these times that I just get these outbursts of gratitude. And it's really not because I have a job. Obviously, I wanted a job, but it was because the opportunity that God blessed me with was beyond my wildest dreams. And like I said, I had a bigger bag, a bigger title in a familiar space that I could have went back to, but this opportunity was literally aligned with me and where I'm going. It's aligned with the work-life balance that I'm looking for. It's aligned with me still being able to pursue the passions that I have sold during this time, because that also was something that was super important to me. I'm like, I don't want to get a job and then I don't have time, or I don't have the mental capacity, or I can't stretch myself to do things that I know are fulfilling for me. So as I was in my hotel room last week, I laid in the bed and I ordered some DoorDash, and I got on TikTok and I was scrolling, and I don't know, something just came over me to be like, girl, you are in California in your favorite robe. You just ordered your favorite ramen, and your company is paying for you to come out and meet your coworkers. Like, you cannot tell me God is not going to do something that's bigger than your wildest dreams. I was just like in a moment of reflection and gratitude. And like I said, when I first took the opportunity, I knew it was for me, but I couldn't celebrate that because I was grieving. Over time, more and more things were coming up. It was like each and every day that I was at work, it was like, oh, we have this and we have that, and they care about this and they support that, and you have this opportunity, you have that opportunity. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is like everything that I was looking for in a company, but also in terms of my professional growth, also in terms of my mental health, also in terms of how I wanted to be in the work. And I continuously have moments of gratitude, honestly, daily. Like, I'm grateful every single day because I see how good alignment feels. I see how easy alignment is, and I see how God works. I could not have drawn this up, or maybe I could have. Maybe this is what I manifested. It still exceeded my expectations. When I got there, it was like, I thought it was great. And then I got there and it's like 6 weeks in, every week, something has compounded, if not every day, to make me feel like, oh, this is such an amazing place, or oh, this is such an amazing opportunity. And I know that still in my honeymoon phase. So I know that there'll be trials, but I just could tell that I'm in an environment that's going to be conducive for me to be successful. And that was something else that I was looking for in another company. Like, I wanted to be set up for success. And I think in being set up for success, like, my mental health thrives, my other things in my life thrive just based off of that. So I definitely feel like alignment was something that came into play, and I'm seeing the fruits of being a decision. Reflect on what that year taught me, because I know some of you listening are still in it. You're applying, you're interviewing, you're rating, you're refreshing your inbox, wondering if there's something wrong with you. Here's something I reflected on as I was heading into the workforce, right? Clarity beats chaos. During that time, I had went through so many different conversations with so many different companies, didn't know where I stood. I was chasing a lot of different things, and I felt like everything was performative. At first, I was just chasing every opportunity. I was applying to everything, but the more I slowed down, the more I began to get strategic, and the more I gained the confidence in myself, I realized I didn't just want any job. And the things that I was saying and the things that I was searching for actually manifested and came to fruition. And because I slowed down, and because I wasn't being ego driven, and because I was actually listening to myself and what, I guess, home felt like for me, I was able to make the decision that I needed to make. I didn't, by the time I found my role, I wasn't looking for just anything. I was looking for the right one, and I was looking for one that felt like the right fit. So, as I said, throughout the process, completely, I always knew that the company that I'm with now was like my shining star. Faith over force. There is a point in everyone's journey, no matter what it is, that you realize that you cannot try to control every outcome, and you just have to trust that what's meant for you won't miss you. That It's easier said than done. I would definitely say that's easier said than done. And when I finally stopped trying to force doors open, I actually decided that I was going on a detox from interviewing. If that didn't go well, I was done. That was my last interview process. I'm like, I am tired. I had some companies that I had went to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. I'm like, knew that at that point that if I have to do all this to convince you that you should hire me, don't hire me. So I was at that point that I knew I had to just trust what was about to happen. I'm gonna finish this process out, but after this, I'm chilling. Another thing I learned this year was community over comparison. This year really reminded me how important people are. And it also reminded me of the people who are important to me, the ones who checked in, the ones who sent roles. I mean, I have people sending me jobs that I'm like, this is not even your industry. I appreciate you. People who review my resume, who just told me to keep going, who encouraged me in different ways. It's easy to grow social media, especially LinkedIn right now with the state of things, and just feel behind, feel discouraged, and just feel like you're in a different part of life than everyone else, but you're just in a different part of your journey, and everybody's journey looks differently. I had to recognize that for myself because that was something that I had never experienced before. And I had to really take the time to reflect to say, this time gave me more depth. I would say it gave me more depth in terms of who I am as a person, um, than any other time. Like than when I was working. I value a lot of things more, and I look at corporate differently. For sure. I look at it differently. I think this time frame for anybody that's in the job market makes you look at corporate differently. So even going back into the workforce, I do it with a different lens. For those of you who are job searching or know somebody who is on the job search, this is my honest truth. Don't pause your life waiting for the job offer. Pursue your dreams in the meantime. I know I've said that on all of my safe space conversations, but I really do mean that. Start that podcast, start that content, take the trip, learn a new language, learn new skills, because that season in between is where you learn skills that you'll be able to bring to your next opportunity. You'll be able to work on your mindset. You'll be able to be stronger. Don't let this you don't just need to network, you need to be vulnerable in your relationships with those that are around you. Let them know what you need. Let them know how they can support you. I know everybody, we live in a society where everybody's very individualistic, or I can handle everything on my own. And people want to help you carry the load. People will make space for you and what you have going on, especially if they care about you. If they love you, they're going to always have space for you. Now, sometimes they ain't going to hear you crying and whining and, sitting in your misery, but they'll still make space for you, even in those moments, because we all know that we have them ourselves. So I'm gonna end off with what's next, y'all. So this role is it feels like a continuation. Feel like I went on a year sabbatical, a 367 day sabbatical, and that's just a continuation of the marathon. So it's still me, still have the same purpose. I'm in a new space. I'm in a new industry, a new lane of a company. So I get to learn so much more, diversify my skill set. I'm excited. I'm grateful. I'm walking into this new opportunity with more peace, more confidence, less pressure. Just knowing that this was aligned with where I am and where I'm going. I'm super excited to still remain consistent with the passions that I have grown throughout my journey of being laid off. Everyone who supported me, checked on me, sent me jobs, sent me memes, all of those things during my reset era. I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Y'all don't understand how this has kept me going. I know so many people have said, you made it look easy, but y'all made it easier for me. Thanks for supporting this venture. Please, please, please send this to somebody who's going through this just as some inspiration to know that no matter what it looks like right now, what God has planned for you is way bigger than what your dreams are. To anyone still in that waiting season, remember you're not behind. You're just building quietly. Your breakthrough might be closer than you think, and it might come from an unexpected avenue. So take it from someone who waited 367 days I'll see you in the next coffee chat.